Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? The King of Lightning and the King of Lightning here today, bringing you guys and gals Magi chapter reviews on the road to catching up with the Magi series. Now, even though I say that, I'm actually much further ahead myself. I'm around chapter 272. But I'm not going to sit here for like 2 hours to do a Magi chapter review segment of 261 through 272. It's not happening. No way in hell. So that right there needs its own live stream, but not today. I figure let me just do different videos, and tomorrow I'll do probably 2 or 3 video segments of Magi, and hopefully catch up by at least tomorrow night, maybe even Thursday. Probably Thursday though. Probably Thursday. So when it comes to these chapters, essentially, it's the aftermath of the battle between Hakuryuu and Judar versus Alibaba and Aladdin. That's what it is. And after that, it's Aladdin coming to terms with actually what happened with Alibaba, trying to save him with the assistance of, Morgiana, Toto, and company. And you have Cohen and Coleman pretty much prepare for the battle ahead against Hakuryuu. But Hakuryuu himself has other plans as well. Secretive plans. And we get to see this girl that we've never seen before. She is like her clothing style is like half light, half dark, that kind of thing. Reminds you of Sinbad. So when it comes to him being half fallen, because that's actually mentioned in chapter 262, the whole like halfway thing, which is huge. I see coming like 15 billion miles away, man. It's massive. So here's the thing. First chapter 261. First of all, this chapter, again, in more so, it's like a shock chapter. Like, it's Hakuryuu and Aladdin coming to like grips with what just happened to their friends, their best friends, all right? Because Judar, he's gone, and Aladdin, he's gone. So they're like, fuck, like this actually just happened. And then Hakuryuu's like, listen, like let's just kill each other right here and now. I'm like, damn! And Aladdin's like, no, this is not happening. But essentially, since he has no more legs because they were eviscerated off, he makes wooden legs. I mean, like bringing a whole new meaning to peg legs, seriously. And you have this weird confrontation between the two where they're trying to like understand each other in earnest after what just happened. To a certain degree, all right? Hakuryuu is he's more conservative, but Aladdin, he wants to like know a lot of things. Like, why did you do this, And then Hakuryuu just says, well, I did it because I had to, like that kind of stuff. And I mean, because he's not going to sit here and go through the whole spiel of like, like when I was younger, and then like my family, they got killed off by Gyokuen, and then she married a new emperor, but no, it's not happening, it's not happening. So whole thing here is that chapter is relatively simple, but the chapter ends off on a shocking note where you have Hakuryuu pretty much state, I'm still going to fight. I'm still going to continue doing this. I'm still going to fight against like my family. And basically it's, I need to go back to the original plan. And then out of nowhere, this girl comes out. So she was watching like the entire battle happen. And then now she comes in and she is an ally of Hakuryuu. And she is here at the behest of her master. So there are other parties involved in this that we were not aware of before, but now they're coming into the fray. And who these parties are, well, obviously in later chapters we find out. Probably. Now, that being said, the whole thing here with chapters 262 is about depravity, and it's very interesting because Aladdin was so sure of himself when it came to depravity and how it's just innately bad and it's sad and it can cause the world's destruction through Eli and whatnot, and his mission is to fight against that. He succeeded. Essentially, he succeeded. Eli can now no longer be returned to the world because Judar, he is gone, and that massive amount of Black Rook is gone with him. So no longer does a large quantity of Black Rook reside within the planet. Furthermore, when it comes to depravity in of itself, Hakuryuu is talking to Aladdin about whether or not depravity actually is a bad thing. I mean, granted, it can be used, Black Rook can be used to bring Elah, but if those large quantities of Black Rook no longer exist, then it's relatively fine to fall into depravity, essentially speaking. And when I say fine, I mean like it's not like going to like destroy the world. And what Aladdin says is essentially, it's sad. It's very sad for someone to fall into depravity because you're going against the dreams and hopes that you once had. And what Hakuryuu says is massive. So I had to save the page, alright? I had to. Because this is implying something that's extraordinarily important to the overall story. Extraordinarily important. So, when he says this, alright, after he talks about the whole objective thing and how Aladdin has actually reached his objective, what Hakuryuu says is amazing. He says this: the exact opposite of the future you were aiming at, huh? Maybe you're right. They say that in Al-Thamen they have a method to force people to fall into depravity. And the people who ended up like that probably unable to bear the suffering. But what if you were aiming for a bright future in the first place? Halfway then, you forced to stop. So you begin to curse the world as you fight for what you wanted. What will happen in that case? It's because it makes me sad that I don't want to live as you have decided. So it's, you see, like that. First of all, the halfway thing, Sinbad, all day, every day, Sinbad. Like there's 24/7, 365, and what I'm seeing here is the potential of Hakuryuu becoming similar to Sinbad in that sense, with him being halfway fallen. And the whole thing about the future, like what essentially is the White Rook, is like destiny. And if you still want to aim for a bright future, but you don't want to go down the road of destiny that is set for you, is that such a wrong thing? Is that such a bad thing? So it's something that honestly that Aladdin hadn't really thought about. He hadn't thought about it from that perspective, because through and through he's seen Black Rook just be nothing but chaos. It causes them nothing but chaos and disaster for the world. But that was at the hands of Al-Thamen. When Black Rook is natural in of itself, is it really such a bad thing? And this is, I mean, honestly, like it's one of the points of Magi that I really do like about, because Magi, the main characters, they don't just coast. They really don't. They have to like question every aspect of their agendas, every aspect of their being on like a regular fucking basis. Like Magi, not only did Aladdin complete his mission that was set out to him by his mother, his father, and Ugo, essentially speaking, but in the process he loses his best friend, who he had chosen to be the king, essentially. But then he comes to realize that Black Rook, which his father Solomon had fought so hard against, the Rook of Elah, it's not all that bad. Because if you're halfway fallen and you seek a bright future, but that future is not what destiny had had laid out for you, then you have to question. So wait a second, like am I really correct in saying that depravity is completely wrong? And Aladdin really has to struggle with this, even when he returns over to Baalbad, because him and Haku, they go their separate ways. Even when he has to return to Baalbad, and he tells Kome and Koan about what happened, and you have Morgiana and Toto and company, they're taking care of Alibaba, at least they're trying to. And those two, they start talking about how they have gotten great intel on Hakuryuu. He has 2 metal vessels, we know that. And Judar, his partner in crime, he's gone. This is a great chance. Both of his vessels are used for life and whatnot. And so they're analyzing the military components of this. But given the mood of Aladdin, the conversation winds up becoming about depravity to a certain extent. And he has to really question his former notions, his former assumption and belief. Because when you look at it from Haku's perspective, logically speaking, he's not wrong. Granted, Black Rook was used for evil means, but Black Rook itself may not actually be a bad thing. So at the end of chapter, I think it was 262, maybe the beginning of 263, he pretty much says, I no longer know if Black Rook is absolutely bad. So that questioning, I mean, it's very similar to, like, let's say a belief that you have about something, whatever that something is. If you are introduced with evidence or a certain thought or a certain way of, or a certain mode of logic that goes against your belief, you're gonna really question it. If you are at least a person who is not closed-minded about it. And that's what's happening with Alibaba here. I mean, Aladdin. Aladdin is earnestly questioning it because he realized the logic that Hakuryuu is using is not wrong. Because what he's saying holds a substantial amount of weight. So the mission, the belief, the assumption that he once held is shaken greatly by Hakuryuu's words. So that was great. That was actually a very, very cool thing to see. So and that is the major focus of chapter 262. But not only that, in chapter 262, Aladdin is really hesitant about this whole attack on Hakuryuu. Now, when it comes to the plan that Kome and Kohen have, very simply put, now that they know that both of the jinn that Hakuryuu have are life-based, they're going to use Phoenix as a countermeasure against those 2 jinn. Because if you're, basically, magic has several categories. And if 2 magics of the same category collide, they can kind of counteract each other. So they're going to use Phoenix to counteract Belial and Zagan. And then the rest, meaning Kyogoku, Kome, and then whoever, they're going to just pretty much assault Hakuryuu when he's vulnerable, when he shows signs of weakness, whatever. You get my point. So that's the plan. But Aladdin is hesitant because they're still fighting. There's still war. There's still going to be bloodshed. Mind you, he is a very peaceful person. He doesn't want to see fighting like that. And he has essentially completed the mission, and there's no longer means of getting there's no longer means of bringing Il-Ela onto the planet. But there's still going to be chaos and war. That's not changing. As Cohen said, the world is still going to move. If you're not on board or not, the world doesn't give a damn. It's still going to move. And Cohen, I mean, the guy's a douchebag, but he speaks mounds of wisdom. Like it's his job. Just wisdom up the wazoo. Now, the next chapter, essentially, is that carrying over. Where it's like, we have a plan, alright? Like, I gotta do this no matter what. End the damn story. So, you just realize that nothing is 100%. Good for you. Awesome. But we still gotta carry this forward. We still gotta reach our goal. And the goal, Kome explains to Aladdin, the goal, essentially, is to have one country, one religion, one culture, so on and so forth. He explains how war is simply put a means to an end. However, if those means already exist, then there's no purpose for war. End of damn story. And not only that, but they talk about Hakuryuu. How Hakuryuu, he turned his hatred into belief. And he couldn't allow the existence of Ren Gyokuen. So he had to kill her. And those who associate themselves with her, meaning Hakuryuu, meaning Hakue, Koen, Kome, Koha, Kyogoku, all of them, they now are enemies of him because they tolerated her existence and they, in a sense, were with her, but he can't tolerate that. So he has to go and kill them now. So basically, like, it goes back, like, way back when, to when Haku was saying that I'm not going to be satisfied by just killing Ren and Gyokuin. I got to kill them all. Like, I just have to. I got to fight against the world. Like, legit. And Judai was like, yeah, fuck the world. Fuck the world. So, that's that right there. And the chapter ends off with Aladdin, Morgiana, Toto. They're going to try and save Alibaba using various means. And that's what it really is. So, chapter 263 is just another... Honestly, it's like an extension of chapter 262. That's what it is. And finally, chapter 264 was heavy as fuck. Because here you have everyone having a lot of hope in bringing back Alibaba. A lot of hope, a lot of faith. And you have Aladdin going, like, deep in Solomon's wisdom, trying to find a way to bring back Alibaba from where he is. And he's able to find a memory within the root of Ugo, talking to Belial about Belial's own powers. And you would think Ugo, the genius who was able to create his own world, you would think that he would know what to do in this case. Where is that dimension or whatnot? He's no idea. He's no fucking idea. That's crazy. He even puts on top of that, not even Elder David. That's fucking huge, dog. Not even Elder David. Not even this freak. Not even Elder David was able to perceive every hyperspace dimension. And not even he would know where Belial would send people when his powers were used. I mean, not only does that magnify the powers of Belial, the fucking dude's broken. He's broken as fuck, man. But that means that, at least on the side of Aladdin, they can't bring him back. They just can't. So, essentially, chapter 264 is this really intense and sad and depressing mad dash to try and save Alibaba's life. And when you think he has this way, oh wait, I can actually look at the memories of his Rook. No. The Rook that now comprises Alibaba's body is the same that's found in nature. And you... So he's just standing there realizing it's not possible. I can't fucking do it. Not even Solomon's wisdom can allow me to bring back my friend. And it ends off on a really sad note where they come to realize that Alibaba is essentially dead. So chapter 264 ends with the Alibaba's death, which is crazy. And that's really it. So overall, the chapter 261 I thought was actually a good chapter. Chapter 262 I thought was fucking honestly. Because when you question think about it for a second. When you take a main character like Aladdin and you question his being by simply saying Black Rook was used for bad, but not necessarily is it bad. If you're halfway fallen, if you have destiny, if you say fuck destiny, but you still want a bright future, are you really wrong? And he has to really seriously ponder over this shit. It's not simple, man. It really isn't. So I think that chapter is at least an amazing, probably Chapter 263, more so it's good dialogue, but it's reiteration of a lot of things that we already knew, and it carries over from the previous chapter. So that chapter is going to be a good plus to great. And the last chapter in the segment, I think, it's very shocking. It's shocking, but it's very simple. So it's good plus. And we all know that he's not... my fucking voice is gone. And we know he's not dead because he's fucking Alibaba. He's not gone, obviously. But the perception on the side of Aladdin and friends, and just the sheer terror and the hopelessness, that, even though it's a simple chapter, it does give the chapter a lot of weight. So that chapter, I'm going to say good plus to great as well. So that's it, I'm done. So King of Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next segment tomorrow. Have a nice goddamn day.